Man, little throwback, you get in a different little piece of equipment and you can see some stuff different. So what's up, everybody? It's Sunday night, 7:30-ish. Made this time for another edition live in the Man Cave. This is your number one source for high school basketball in the state of Florida. Also in Polk County, we appreciate you all tuning in and rocking with us this evening. We do not take it for granted. Want to go ahead and first start off by saying what's up to the All-State coach.
What's up, Coach?
Hey,
Happy Sunday.
Hey, same to you. And
Happy Mother's Day. Every mother that's out there, whether it's your kids or somebody else's kids, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Yes, sir. The holiday. Shout out to all the mothers who are doing it, have been doing it, doing an awesome job with it, man. We at Polk Hoops definitely appreciate you. Want to salute you for, one day is not enough, but on the day that they say is yours, want to make sure that we give you flowers. So, PG, not sure. PG might be jumping in a little later, but the show must go on, as they say, in Hollywood. So, since it's absent of the PG, Coach, do you got anything in your coach's corners for us this evening, sir?
Yeah, I got something. I posted something earlier this week talking about culture, Coach. What does a winning culture or a championship culture look like? And if you're a new coach or you're at a new location, how do you build a winning culture?
What does a new culture looks like? I mean, a winning culture looks like it. I think that it starts with the understanding, I guess. Culture is built off of on the backs of those, I guess, who came before you. So kind of like when I walk in the door at, let's just say, Winter Haven High School girls basketball, and it's my first time in the gym, and we know that, Coach Johnny is synonymous with those workouts, those grueling workouts. Or you go to Bartow, and you know that Coach McGriff is well known for the plyometrics training. That's kind of his thing. That's what's been going on before you walked in the door, right? So no matter who you are, the culture is, the expectation is that this is what is done. And so I think culture is just setting a standard, setting an expectation, not being not being apologetic for it. I don't know if that's the right word, but setting the expectation of this is how things are going to go, and being consistent with it. I think sometimes people lose culture because they lose consistency with it. So if you're doing it one season, then you don't do it the next, or you're doing it one week, don't do it the next. You got to be consistent with kids, and because if not, they see a gap, they see a inch, then you lose it, and now you're starting all over again. So I think that it's kind of like it's continually built, and it's built on a daily basis. And so at this point, the culture that you all have at Winter Haven, especially like conditioning, speaks for itself. The culture that McGriff has with Bartow with the plyometrics speaks for itself. So for a new coach, I think being consistent is important. And whatever it is that you're hoping to accomplish, level of consistency and an expectation that, not a ultimatum type of expectation, but this is what it's going to take for us to be successful. And I think you got to clearly define what success looks like for your school or your program, because what's successful at Winter Haven may not be successful at, I don't know, at STEAM Academy. What's successful at Bartow may not be successful at Bridgewater Baptist, you know. So I think you got to set what it is that you consider to be your standard and build on that every day on the court and off the court. And I think sometimes people sacrifice some of that stuff and they're not consistent with it. So then it's hard to maintain it if you're not consistent with it. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of
Yeah. You definitely answered it, and you hit on some great points. Expectations, consistency. I can throw accountability in there, and then after you achieve it, coach, it got to be sustainable. Because if it's not sustainable, you're starting over every year, from ground zero, and you can't do that. And what I have found is that you have to coach everybody. That consistency part is so important. Like we at Winter Haven, and even when I was at Lake Wells, I was tough on whether it was that big name player or that last person that was coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? There was a level of expectation that, we expected. I wasn't gonna let the big name player get away with it, and everybody else they're watching, coach. They're watching. You know what I'm saying? Because they're seeing how you're gonna handle that, or whether they let them get away with everything, or such and such can do this, but I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that you stay consistent and you coach the top as well as you coach the bottom the same way or even harder. Um, I can say right now, Johnny will tell you, and Serenity Hardy will tell you, I'm tougher on her at times because I know what her expectation is. I know what our expectation is, and I don't mind getting on her to motivate her to be the best version of herself. I'm not gonna let her get away with things that the rest of them can't get away with. You know what I'm saying? That's also with the rest of them, Quinn and all my other players. I was tough on my nephew when I had him, O'Shea. I was tough. I was tough on Little Baby. I was tough on Marcel and Alante. I was tough on all of them. But at the same time, I loved them up too. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that you establish a culture. You're consistent with that culture, but you also got to establish something that's sustainable because you can't start over year in and year out because then you won't be consistent, with your winning culture. For example, Winter Haven, LBD in our down year was still losing in the regional semis or the regional final. You know what I'm saying? Our down years, but our culture expectation gonna always get us to that point. You know what I'm saying? Just because we got a system, we're a program. So if we're down talent wise, we're still gonna make the playoffs. We're still gonna get to the regional final or regional um semifinals, or we still gonna be knocking on the door at Lakeland. I remember one year we was over there. We wasn't the best team in the region, but we found a way to get to Lakeland, and that's just because of the culture that has been set before me. Because that culture was already there. I was just blessed enough to come into that and just add to it. So
two questions off that. First, how long does it take to build culture, first of all? And secondly, as a new program, if I'm a new coach, I'm coming into a new school, I think it would be a mistake for me if I'm coaching girls to measure myself to Winter Haven. And if I'm coaching boys, I think it would be a mistake to measure myself to Bartow. Because those two teams, for the most part, are the standard. Now, Santa Fe may argue that point on the boys' side. Victory may argue that point on the boys' side. But there, if you want to say whichever, but is it advisable to come in the door comparing yourself? Now, some people say, I want the king, I want the queen. So they come in and that's the standard. Is that probably the best way to look at it, first of all? And then the second part is, from a new person coming in, a new program, how long does that, if it was not in place, you said it was already in place at Winter Haven. So if it was not in place, how long does that take? And nowadays, are people going to stick around that long to establish it? I guess that was a couple questions.
I'm gonna see if I can answer all of these. For one, I wrote an article in the magazine because you got to do it your own way. All right, you can't copycat it where it's the same, because it's not going to be the same. And me and McGriff was, rivals when we was coaching boys. We coached together when it came to travel ball, especially with Tony Bradley Lee. I was on the girl side then, but I figured out he was successful and I was successful, but there was differences um, in philosophy, um, in some detailed things, but a foundation was there where we was consistent. We coached our players hard. We had the same foundation as far as that goes. But the thing is, what works for me might not work for McGriff. But what I do is I learn from him. I see the things that he's doing, and I may tweak it or change it a little bit for it to work for me and my program, if that makes sense. Like I said, you don't want to copycat it because that might not be the same. I've seen some coaches come in, well, this is what they do at Duke, or this is what they do at Lake Wells, or this is what they do at Bartow. Well, this is not Bartow. This is not Lake Wells. This is not Duke. You know what I'm saying? So what I need to do is modify it to fit my program, fit my philosophy, and then build on it from there, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, just copycatting it, it's not going to look the same. Even me moving from Lake Wells to LBD, it still doesn't look the same. It's some things I had to change, some things I had to modify. The foundation is still there. You know what I'm saying? But I still had to modify it to fit that particular program. How long does it take? It's really according to the relationships that you build. And I cannot stress that enough. Going in, building positive relationships when it comes down to the administration, to your assistant coaches, players, managers, parents, it's important that you come in and you build those positive relationships. You know what I'm saying? You got to go over and beyond, what I'm saying, just that time that you spend with them on the court. Get to know them personally. Get to know what they plans after high school. Try to help them with that. Have those life conversations where you are building those relationships. So therefore, when it is time for me to get on your behind, it's not taking as a personal attack. You know what I'm saying? It's still me. It's coming from a place of love where I'm trying to motivate you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a personal attack where, he's always on me or he at me about this, and this. No. You know what I'm saying? I see something that I don't like. We need to change this behavior. We need to modify this behavior into the expectation that we set here. You know what I'm saying? So it could take a year. It could take a couple of years. Like I said, it's all about how you build those relationships and how fast you can get buy-in from the entire organizations, from the administration, parents, coaches, and the players.
That's a lot. What's up? What's up, Newt Hogan? A couple things he said. Mr. Newt, right? He says, set the goal high, then work toward the goal. You have to build around your talent. So, and I guess the other part is, so you saying it could take a season, it could take another season. You brought up another point, the relationship from all involved. That has to be important as well, right? Like, Winter Haven, I think you guys have an advantage because your AD used to be a coach, so she's sports. That's easy.
Yep. And
McGriff
she's
has
still
been
coming to the gym, and she worked them out, and she has a relationship with all the kids.
so that's so y'all that's a cheat code at that point, right? McGriff been at Bartow so long that he pretty much owned the got deed. He got deeds to the city, right? So, but that's not the reality everywhere. We see sometimes coaches don't get a chance to set their culture, not because that's not what they're trying to do, but because it doesn't get past the front office or the guidance office or the athletic department. So all that has to kind of that all that has to so how do you build that if your administration or your athletic department is not, I don't want to say not on board, but they can't see, for whatever reason, they can't see it, they don't want to see it, but it's not connecting with them with what you down at the gym wanting to get done. Can it work? Can you build a culture without administrative support, approval? I don't want to say but without the administration buying in.
You still can build it. It's gonna be a little bit tougher. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be easy to build if everybody's not on board and everybody doesn't share the same vision. I was blessed at Lake Wells because, for one, I was from Lake Wells. I had a great relationship with the football coach because he coached me, and also I coached football. I had a great relationship with the AD because I've known him pretty much all my life. But the thing is, I also let them know that I was willing to help out in other areas in order to maintain positive relationships with them. You know what I'm saying? To, like, hey, they needed, someone to do parking or someone to volunteer to do a community service project. You know what I'm saying? Or do certain things around the school. I didn't mind volunteering myself or the team for that. Um, Communication is really key too, coach. A lot of times they don't know what's going on, so therefore they're getting blindsided by parents or somebody from the community about situations or issues, and there's no open communication between you and the administrators or you and your AD. So I think it starts with clear, effective communication for one. Have an open communication where there's no, you're not being blindsided by things. But again, it starts with relationships, and sometimes you're gonna have to do more than the bare minimum in order to build those relationships.
So how hard is it for you, putting you in the mix? How hard is it for you to separate, since you are an administrator? How hard is it for you to be an administrator when it comes to basketball? When you see something like somebody like trying to build a culture, but you got your admin hat on, so but you as a coach, you like, I don't know if that's the way to do that, but you're not the coach, you're the admin.
Mm-hmm.
So how? Because like I said, you have a different kind of perspective because you're a coach that's an administrator. So how does that work?
Coach, I'm not gonna lie to you. My administrative hat, I have learned to be quiet because I see a lot of things that I don't agree with. Um, as far as the way things are being done or the things that are ran, but because I also have to realize I didn't let nobody micromanage me and my program. I was gonna do things a certain way. Administrator wasn't gonna come and tell me that I had to, keep a kid or not cut a kid, or that I couldn't go to this tournament or that tournament. or try to dictate my schedule. That just wasn't gonna happen. And I'm me as an administrator. I'm not gonna micromanage your program either. I'm trusting you to do things the correct way, in the right way, and but I'm here as a resource. Also, if you need help or you need perspective, come and ask me. And I think that's where a lot um, of people that I deal with, a lot of times they don't ask, which is okay. Like I said, because in the end, it falls on your head and whatever, and you should do it your way. But at the same time, I think if you have certain resources that are on campus that are available to you, I think you should at least try to use them in your favor. But in the end, coach, I'm able to separate it. But most of the time, I don't infringe or impose on people program. If they ask me for advice, I'm gonna give it to them. When it's time for me to be a coach, I'm gonna be a coach. When it's time for me to be an administrator, I'm gonna be an administrator. I encourage them to try to handle things in house. But if it gets to me where I have to step in, then I have to do what's best for the organization as a whole.
So it's
What's
not
good,
hard.
fellas?
What's up, Tuma?
Going on, PG? How you doing, sir?
All right.
The question is culture, sir, and you can provide a perspective because you had to build a culture with TBS, and you've been in coaches for basketball. The question is how how how
Keep muted.
Can't hear you, Barnes. Yeah, your sound don't went out. But what we talked about, Tuma, was like how do you build a culture and then basically how you maintain it after that.
Continue discipline. You build it off of for me, I just built it off what I was used to being around. And then you gotta maintain it with the same type of discipline. Um, if that makes sense.
I mean, it makes clear sense to me. And I think those principles that you live by, it can cross over to other things like things that you were taught playing ball crossed over into TBS. It crossed over into, your entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? It's still the foundation of everything.
Correct. Yeah, just off of being around two people, Coach Gibbons and Coach Williams, who ran programs, pretty much almost a similar way. It's just that helped in the situation of trying to build a organization, and then just standing on what's believed. It's never going to be a perfect world. I think to this day, I still open the door for questions and learning from them about mistakes that can happen inside of an organization. That could cause you to go downhill.
And Tim, I think that's a key point also. You just stated, like we've been out of high school 20 plus years,
Hmm.
right? But you just stated that you're still a student, you're still learning, you're still willing to learn. How important you think that is to like a coach and also to a player? How important you think that is?
I think it's probably one of the most important things, bro, because like every day of life in this new era with technology and etc., you're gonna the transition of coach to player will be changing, and I think it's probably one of them. It's very important to continue to learn because you got to adapt to the new kids, if we may say it. I can give you an example of what I saw from someone in the past that you see now in at this time now that makes you Coach McGriff. I mean, Coach McGriff went from hard bottom suits to rocking Jordans at games, the color of Bartow. But it's the adaptive of the kids in the era. You know what I'm saying? Like you ask him that question, you gotta be able to adapt with the kids. You got to be able to adapt with your player.
I agree with you on that. And that's something I had to learn early as a new coach. Because at one point, it had to be my way or no way. And from the most unusual source, it was actually Coach Hayes. Coach Burner was like, "Hey, I understand you got these certain standards. You want things done a certain way, but you also got to allow the kids to be themselves." You know,
Yeah,
and I had to learn to adapt to certain kids. Like for example, Doug Brooks, one of the best basketball players that I ever coached. Doug had the mentality when I walked into the gym, I was hot, I was open, and I'm gonna let this thing fly. And I used to tell my team all the time, like, hey, when you come off the bench, when you touch the ball, the first thing you shouldn't be doing is firing a three. But Doug, he didn't care. He didn't care what I said.
yeah,
He used to let that thing go. You know what I'm saying? And I used to take him out. Hey, what did I just tell you? You know what I'm saying? He was like, Coach, I was open, blah, blah, blah. And Hayes had to pull him aside, like, hey, you got to let him be him.
yeah.
And
It's
then,
like it's like Coach K. Coach K at the beginning didn't recruit one and done. Remember?
yes,
It was like, oh, I
exactly.
don't recruit one and done players, and then you get caught up making those type of statements, and then you look around, you ain't getting the all Americans you used to get
Mhm.
coming to your program, to where you got to make that adjustment. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's very important. You just got to know the kids. You can't coach the kids you coached 10 years ago the same way you coach these kids now. I get that all the time, bro. I get told from my girls I don't got soft
We get the same
from the era of how I coached them compared to now. But it's a different group of parenting too, you know.
facts. Facts.
So you definitely need to make your adjustments um for the better of the program, not just the kids, but just knowing the type of kids you're coaching now.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
the foundation is still there. The foundation of TBS is still there. The foundation of LBD is still there. The expectation is still there. Like I said, you just got to make these adjustments so you're not, putting yourself in a tough situation with these kids and parents. Um, so I totally understand where you're coming from because they say the same thing about us. Like, hey, we used to do this, we used to do that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all used to do this to us. Y'all done got soft. I said the same thing about Hayes, because Hayes have gotten that way, but the thing is, at least the foundation is still there. And that's the reason why y'all are still have a high standard at TBS, why the standard is still high at LBD, at Lakeland football, at Bartow basketball.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Another thing that's important with that for both of y'all. What is something that's like huge right now in life that probably wasn't even thought about when we were growing up, that causes you to also adjust on how you adapt to the kids now?
Social media.
That's a good one. Give me one, Billy D.
For me, and I had this conversation with y'all, and I had this conversation the other day. The big one with me is it's not a village anymore. We used to pride ourselves in our community, but it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. Nowadays, the village don't want you saying nothing to their child.
Is yep.
They
But
don't
how about
want.
so that's two great ones, man. But
So
let
you
me let
have
me
to like dance on eggshells. At one point, I was dancing on eggshells, but then I thought about it. Okay, you don't want me to say certain things to your child, but then I thought about it, especially when I was at Lake Wells. I have all these kids sleeping on my floor. I'm going to feed them every day. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure that they get a ride home for practice, a ride to camp. I got to make sure they eat when we go certain places. Like now, I'm not only their coach. It's like I'm one of their parents too. Matter of fact, you need to give me their social security number so I can claim them on my taxes as much as I'm doing for them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the huge thing adjustment for me is that the village um has changed.
How about mental health?
Oh, big, especially in the minority community.
Because
'Cause
like I don't recall that ever being something that we were raised on.
no, especially like growing up.
But has it been there? We just was told to suck it up and deal with it. Cause it's like the stuff is it different what the stuff these kids are dealing with than what we and kids around us was dealing with? It just wasn't like you didn't talk about your problems or you wasn't allowed to be, that was soft. Or I mean, is it that mental health is just now a thing, or it's always been a thing and it just was handled differently? Because it's like you said, it's a huge thing now. And sometimes I think that I don't want to be insensitive with this, what I'm saying. I don't think everything is mental health. I think sometimes some stuff gets put into that category, and it may not be it, and then it kind of so it's almost like the boy who cried wolf. You keep crying wolf, and then it's like really a situation, but it's been so many false alarms that you just kind of brush it off. So I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think mental health is a huge one, but I just was it. Is it just now becoming a huge one? Was it that way when we was coming up and when it just was. We just had to handle it different. I don't know.
I think we were a victim of circumstances and um just culture and just the way things was handled. Um, like back then, and like think of our grandparents, that wasn't available to them. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know or use their insurance to get mental health services because the people that taught them before them didn't do it or it wasn't available. And I agree with you 100% that a lot of people use it for an excuse or to basically okay their behavior and whatever. And I don't agree with that at all. But at the same time, we have a lot of kids, even a lot of adults that have been through traumatic experiences and they never seek out the right help in order to heal properly. So therefore they go through those continuous circles of trauma, or maybe they pass that on to the next generation because they never healed from it. And I think we got to stop those type of traumatic circles for sure.
Yeah, that was a good one, PG. So, and it's like now with the whole mental health thing, you're almost nervous. It's like from a medical perspective. I know I used to like never if a kid like one time out at Gateway had a kid at Collegiate. A kid he was a diabetic and he had like a real high maintenance helicopter type parent, and he used to have to kind of inject kind of do his own insulin stuff. Well, if he didn't get it, he could he could go he could get rough. So I remember one day he it was kind of rough, and I called the ambulance. I called the paramedics because I'm not equipped to do anything medical. And the way your parent is, your mom is, I'm not finna do it either. I'm not gonna have that on me if something don't go right, right, or something goes left. Well, the mom was all upset because she didn't want to pay the ambulance bill. Now, well, look, I'm not doing. I'm not a trained medical person to be doing that. If he's supposed to do it, then okay, but I'm not doing it. And I wonder if that's kind of where we at with mental health. Are we really trained as coaches to handle a kid dealing with? legitimate mental health like issues, and how where do you go with that? Because like you PG saying, it's becoming more and more prevalent. It's becoming more and more of a normal thing. So you would be more you would be wise to be equipped to handle it. But do you? I mean, how?
I think coaching these days, you're more of a sports psychologist than you are a coach. And I used to say that even when I was with my boys. One, because you cannot coach every kid the same, right? Like, it's some kids that you can go and you can yell at. You can cuss, you can fuss, you can motivate them in that particular way. Then there's some kids you might have to pull off to the side, what I'm saying, have that conversation between you and them. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some kids, if you embarrass them in front of their peers, in front of their parents, in front of everybody, they're gonna shut down on you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
then they're not gonna perform um, at the level that you need them to. And that also goes back to building those relationships. If you don't have that relationship with them kids, it's no way you can coach them kids that hard. It's no way. But one, you like I said, you have to learn your kids. You have to learn what motivates them. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn what makes them tick, what gets them down in the dumps, and when they're down in the dumps, how you build them up and get them up out of it. And we have to do a lot of that, especially on the girl side. Oh my gosh, it's an emotional roller coaster with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't build those relationships, if you don't know and understand your kids, what makes them click, what makes them perform at a high level, you know what I'm saying? And then when they're down, what it takes for them to build up. You know what I'm saying? Setting those seeds, being positive, building them up. You know what I'm saying? But then when it's time to get on them, do you get on them publicly in front of everybody? Or do you pull them aside and then you have to jump them behind closed doors or have a conversation where only you and them can hear? So I think it's very important.
That's a good point. Good point. Hey PG. I don't know if you got anything on the take. If not, we'll keep moving on. I don't know if you got anything that's pressing that you wanna speak on.
No, we just talked about it.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm dealing with technical difficulties. I don't have my laptop. I'm on my phone and my iPad, and it's hit or miss. So I'm not at my regular location. So, well, couple we had some. This was a busy week of kids with offers and commits and not. So we want to make sure we recognize a few of the kids. Tucker Fox picked up 2 football offers: University of South Dakota and Warner University. Dominique Harris Payne, 2028 kid from Lakeland guard, picked up 2 football offers from University of Southern Mississippi in Toledo. Amari Russell from Fort Meade, 2020. Well, Payne is 2028. I'm sorry. Russell is 2026. Picked up University of Southern Mississippi football also. Deontay Fielder from Lakeland, 2027 kid, picked up Toledo. And shout out to a couple of guys that committed. Eddie Hippolyte from Haines City committed to Weber University. LaQuay Clark from Davenport committed to Southeast. I think he might have signed Southeast Christian. And Quentin Wilson, 2028 from Victory, was named to second team All State for the 1A state team that was released this week. So congrats to all those young men on their accolades. And um, transfer portal was busy last week. We had Shannon MacArthur transfer from Lakeland over to Plant City, not Plant City, it's Lakeland to Santa Fe. And we had Wesley Van Zant, who is a 2026 kid. MacArthur's 2027. Van Zant transferred from Tampa Wharton to Lakeland. And Deontay Fielder transfer, he's 2027, transferred from Haines City to Lakeland. So, any thoughts on the transfers, offers, commitments for this past week?
The all state is shocking. That's very shocking that a team makes it to the championship game and the Best player gets second team.
Now I didn't see the first team, so
Yeah,
but
I didn't
yeah,
see it either. So
what's
And
your
he
thoughts
averaged
on?
like 22 points a game.
Yeah, it was 22 a
Jeez.
game. Yes,
That
sir.
was tough. That
Do you
that that was
think
tough this year.
do you think that that had something to do with his performance at the Civic Center?
Yes.
it probably does, but
Yeah.
it probably also has something to do with him being a freshman too. You know what I'm saying? It's like Wemby last year not getting defensive player of the year. You know what I'm saying? He clearly had better numbers than Rudy. It wasn't even close. You know what I'm saying? But we got to get out of that narrative and and try to do a better job with that.
You
This
got to
might
get
be
out
the
there.
first time though. This might be the first that I've seen a team make it to the championship game and no one on the team made first team all state.
That's that's and the thing about it is that's surprising because we I mean I guess we can predict that when the 218 gets released this week, we're predicting I'm sure that Tate would be in line for first team, right? It would be a shock if he.
Nah, and not after seeing this. Not after seeing
Okay.
this.
So you think that you don't know, but you based off of you figure that Quint was a lock for first team, and since he didn't make it, it don't mean that nobody's safe. Tate might not be
Yeah.
a lock either.
Nobody safe,
I don't
bro.
think nobody's safe
Nobody safe. That was 22 points a game.
for sure.
You know, it
But
wasn't like he averaged
JoJo,
8 to 9 or 10. He averaged 22 points a game and made second team all state. That's interesting. I mean, 1A was that's they 1A, right? They was
yeah, that's
1A
one.
had to be loaded.
Did we
I would
mention
be
JoJo Barnes?
say again.
Huh?
Did we mention JoJo commitment to ECU in football? I don't know.
JoJo,
From Victory.
I thought he committed to Kansas State. He
Was it Kansas
changed,
State?
but
I thought I seen
he
something
been committed
today.
to them. That he took back and went somewhere else. I thought he been
Boy,
committed.
I thought I seen something today saying he was going to ECU.
You may have seen something, Coach. You may have seen something. I thought he had been committed to Kansas State, but you know, kids come, they back in and back out. I hadn't seen that, Coach. So I mean, if it happened, then yeah, shout out to JoJo too. But I thought he was locked and loaded with Kansas State.
I seen something from Coach Fitzgerald, Jonathan JoJo Jean, East Carolina.
But dang, that's gonna be the third Polk County kid at East Carolina, all in the secondary.
Man, listen, ain't nothing locked and loaded when it comes to football.
I
You
also,
know,
well, you know, we're gonna have one for basketball because Shaw going up there for basketball from us, so it's Pope gonna be deep up there.
yeah. So you got Jordy from Bartow,
Hmm.
Kamari from Lakeland, and now JoJo from Victory, all gonna be at um.
Yeah, I thought I wasn't crazy when I saw that today.
No, you
But
ain't
Coach
crazy.
Fitzgerald,
Well, Coach, we while we on, this will be breaking news. I'm looking right now. This at the 1A first team, and I can answer the other question right now. So the first team for 1A was Matt Abel from Sagemont, Patrick LeBurn from Sagemont. So two Sagemont guys. Tony Bryant from North Tampa Christian, the guy that
that's the big kid.
the big kid. Landon Harwood from Lake Worth Christian. I don't know about him. And Mario Forbes from Tallahassee St. John Paul.
I
So
would love to see their numbers
that's
though.
that's your first team. Now, while you're doing that, Coach, I see that they have released the 218. So let's see if he made first team All State. We can answer that question right now on the show.
What
So
was the
they
kid name from Saint? The last one that you named?
hold on, I'm gonna go back to it. Yeah, Tate made first team, so we got to do breaking news on that. Tate made first team All State for 2A. They had two kids from Miami River Prep, one from Westminster, one from Chaminade, Madonna. and Tate.
Okay,
And Toby made third team All State.
that's good for him.
We got to post both of those. So they put two guys on the All State team. They released 3A today. So but let me go back and look at what give you the name. That's breaking news. Breaking news on the show. From Tallahassee St. John's Paul was Mario Forbes, 6'8" senior. And from
Mario.
Lake Worth Christian was Landon Harwood, a 6'2" senior. And so yeah, he was the only one.
Ooh, y'all gonna get crucified.
Now I'm gonna post it. I just saw it. They posted it yesterday, so I'm gonna post it.
I'll tell you how y'all gonna get crucified after the show.
Y'all,
It's coming.
that was posted. In my defense, on the 10th, I was in a U-Haul truck for 13 hours from Pittsburgh to Georgia. So
Nah, it ain't got nothing to do with that.
I plead. Okay.
The Forbes kid averaged 12 months a game, 10 rebounds a game.
That's BS. Did they make it to Final Four?
No.
What's the name made first team for 3A All State? Derek Livingston from Discovery. They released that one today. So Darius Livingston made first team All State. Tate made first team. Q made second team, and Toby made third team. So he had to post. I got to post them 2A and 4.
Well, Q's definitely because of the performance then.
And then it was a performance at the Civic Center. Could have been nothing else, right?
Somebody with 12 points got in.
12 and 10, you're double
12 and
double.
10 and then didn't even make it to the Civic Center. Yeah,
Yeah, Lake Worth can't even make it.
the banana in the tailpipe.
Dang. So are we surprised that Darius made first team All State 3A?
No, not at all.
Didn't he make All State last year?
Uh,
I think
yeah.
he was on one of the teams if it wasn't first team. But that's good for him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Darius. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to Tate. Shout out to Q.
Are we surprised about Toby making third team All State?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Z, thanks for the clarification on that. So JoJo Scott is going to Kansas State. And
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I
I
guess
thought
the
he
Gene
was.
kid is transferring to East Carolina.
So JoJo Jean is different from JoJo
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know JoJo Scott was locked in with so East Carolina is the transfer spot for Polk County kids. We ain't got no rural kids, but I'm looking now just to make sure. We ain't got no rural kids that made All State. So then I guess they'll do 4A tomorrow, then 5A, then 6A, then 7A.
That's so trash. It's 2 months after the tournament and it's just not coming out All State.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered why but I don't know. And then they don't. It's like not necessarily an announcement if you're not like really like connected. You won't even know to go look. Like I mean,
Yeah, I'm
obviously
gonna
I know.
call. I'm gonna call Corey on this one. Like he got to explain to me. He got to explain to me how Q didn't make first team All State in the championship game. I get the definite answer for us.
Okay.
I'm gonna text him now and kind of get that answer.
Okay. All right. Well, why PG doing that? So PG sent something to us earlier today, a clip, and the guy essentially saying that, and just we talk about it now, y'all. The guy said essentially, I just wrote a couple of points. Circuit basketball has become a circus. He said that parents are living through their kids, no fundamentals are being taught. AAU basketball kids are disrespecting the game. European basketball is essentially far greater than American basketball. Any of those points are they? Is there any type of disagreement with what the guy was saying? It may not be sexy to what he was saying, but is it accurate?
There's no disagreements from me. And that's mainly because he was adamant about how the game is being played right now. Like a lot of people are playing the game for like highlights and to go viral and to, do certain things. Like a lot of people want praise and applause for a fish swimming, because you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like you want praise for things that you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't agree with that. They're looking for the highlight. You see a kid dunk or make a good move, and then the next thing they know, they're looking to the camera. You know what I'm saying? You still got to have respect for the game and for your opponent. You know what I'm saying? Because karma is a mother, because it's going to come back to you. You know what I'm saying? And then what? You know what I'm saying? I still think you got to respect the game. You still got to play the game the right way. And I don't think I've seen the passion that was played back 10, 15, 20 years ago. The passion is not the same. Now, the skill level and better athletes, all of that is trending up. I agree. But I don't think the passion is the same. It has shifted because of social media. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for stuff that really doesn't even matter.
Okay. So he was spot on with it.
Because
So
you
why coach is that why coaches, because and maybe coaches have always been this way. We're just seeing it more now because of social media. But does it seem like more coaches are becoming, and you sent this coach, and it was funny, but it's accurate. Coaches becoming more aggressive and kids becoming less concerned?
Yeah, I agree. It's coach. So much has changed and shifted. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, it's a lot of coaches that encourage that behavior. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of time players, um, they will clone the personality of their coach. So if your coach is like that, they're gonna do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's why lately you see, like, remember that one summer we seen, like, it was like a fight every weekend in travel ball. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's not more so the players, it's more so the actions of the coaches. You know what I'm saying? So we we got to come to some type of happy medium where we're playing the right brand of basketball, but at the same time, the kids are still enjoying themselves. I think the photo ops and the chances of going viral or trying to put together a mixtape has overtaken playing the game the right way, having passion, winning, um, showing off your skill development that you're supposed to be now putting into the game. And I think that's why um, the way Europeans develop is basically overtaking, how we're doing our young kids right now.
Do you trust if you're a high school coach, do you trust your kid or kids with a AAU coach or a travel ball coach in today's landscape?
No, I won't trust them totally. Again, I'm still having communication. I'm gonna be involved. I'm gonna go watch them play if I'm especially a boys coach, because that's also a fertile recruiting ground. Also, is in travel ball. If you notice, a lot of those kids end up to where their some of their AU their travel ball coaches are coaching high school ball at.
So you keeping a lock and key.
Because you have to. Again, I talked about developing relationships earlier. That's part of it. You have to continue to stay a part of your kids' lives. If you trusting them to these certain programs, that's fine, but you still got to be involved. You got to go watch them play. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep in constant communication. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, after the game, you still coaching them up and giving advice on how their playing can help improve the program once they get back.
Okay. Okay. Um. All right. I'm looking through, make sure we ain't missed nothing. So this Friday, I passed Friday. We did the latest top five. We did the top five like shooting guards, and we get you're getting some questions about people like how and where we're like where we got kids like listed at. So our five, I guess, two guards, shooting guards. We had Q, Crosley, Tucker Fox, Aiden Curry from Armandale, and Rashard Kelly from Kathleen. Um, some of those may not be traditional looking two guards, but I mean, that's what they're playing. I guess, some people will question, all right, well, you got two victory kids on there, but they, based off of kind of how they ran their stuff, they both were essentially, I mean, they were interchangeable, but Miles was the point, right? He was the PG. And those guys, I don't think Q is a wing. I think he's a two, and I mean Tucker would be more of a combo probably. But um, we didn't get much pushback on that one as we did with the PG one. So I guess we're getting better at it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's meant to start a conversation. You know what I'm saying? If we did miss somebody, of course we have those constructive conversations amongst ourselves. There's definitely other players that could have been mentioned. Um, but at the same time, it should be motivation for to make sure that we don't leave you out. You know what I'm saying? Um, Other things is like the rumor mill in the transfer portal. We have some kids that are not going to be in the county next year, and that's something that a reason why one of the kids wasn't on there. But like I said, it's meant to start a conversation. This is leading into summer league, and summer league is going to
Yo,
tell us a lot. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have our early top, five teams, our top five players, all of that stuff. Just know that we're watching. We're trying to start conversations, and it's okay for us not to agree, but let us know why your particular player should be up there.
hey,
Yes, sir.
he should have been. I just
He
got
sh-
the phone. I had y'all muted.
he should have been.
Yeah, he definitely should have been. They had a miscommunication on that one.
He better go back and fix it.
Nah, it's not like they're just. I'm saying, looking, just having a conversation with him. He don't. He's kind of shocked that he wasn't over
Oh, so he
one or
didn't.
two over two of those guys.
Okay.
Like, but he didn't. He just talking. He should have been. I'll give y'all a run fill in, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's more than him. That's
Yeah. He didn't put the final say so on that one. Pretty much skipped over him, but he should have been.
Yeah, because that's a tough one. If you like you saying, not in addition to state finals and his numbers, he also one of the top kids in the country in his class. So you would think that would merit, that would go into the equation as well. So yeah, that definitely was a shocker when I saw it. But you got to post it. That's what they said.
yeah, for sure.
Then
You can't
and
take
that
it back now.
second.
Can't take it back now.
Yeah, and I read somewhere where I either read or looked at a clip where a dude was saying that the rankings and how these guys, these talking heads, it's watered down because the people that be making these rankings or be talking don't watch the games. And it was talking more from a professional standpoint. They talking and they ranking these guys and they saying these guys that, and they don't even watch the game. So how can you know? One thing that we've always kind of tried to pride ourselves on is the fact that we actually watch. We don't just take somebody's word for it. We're watching. We at games, so we're putting our eyes on the kids. So when we talking from what we've seen. Either one of us, two of us, or three of us. People sending us stuff. So we took the time to actually look at the product before we speak on the product. So we're not just out here just fat mouthing. And I think that for us is kind of where we're a little different than other people. Not speaking specifically on nobody because that ain't what we do, but we try to at least have a decent idea of what we're talking about. So it's just not. And then even with that, we still trash. Um, because we didn't agree with what you said or what you saw. You know, it was a very spirited debate about the all defensive team that we posted. So we posted, just for, if you didn't see it, Tucker Fox from Victory, Shakai Richards from Davenport, Chris Kelly from Avon Park, Josiah Battle from Bartow, Shard Kelly from Kathleen, Shenard Cloud from Lakeland, where it was the all defensive team. I don't know if I left anybody out. Oh, and Jaden Lindsay from Auburndale. But two guys that, came up a lot in the conversation was one was Toby Lane from Santa Fe, another one was Eddie Hippolyte from Haines City. So, um, and both of those guys very well, deserving guys, but the guys that we chose were not worthy
Yeah.
off of what they did as well. So it's like, so we're not just out here just saying, just closing our eyes and trying and pointing at not names and posting them. And I think, but even with that, like you say, it's always going to be people that kind of feel a certain way, um, especially if they have a personal vested interest in it. And we just try to be objective and kind of just stay neutral with it. And for the most part, I think we accomplished that. But even with that, you're still gonna have what you're gonna have.
Again, it's a conversation. It's a conversation starter. It's fine that you don't agree. We can all have respectable conversations about it. You know, we can agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Even we don't agree all the time, but it's still respectable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing personal shots at you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of people that think we don't see it, but we know y'all throwing personal shots at us, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still sleep the same. Direct deposit still gonna hit, but you know what I'm saying. But we would love to have conversations. It's just like at the barbershop.
That's interesting though, because like we're more shocking. Like I haven't seen no one be like what Bar said today. Like social media is a big trend right now. I hadn't seen no one complain about him being second team all state. And that's been out for about a good week and a half, right?
Been
Yeah.
for a couple of days, yeah.
Until we
But
just talked about it. Like, and I went to make a call about it. Like, but I hadn't seen no one publicly like how this happened. How could he be second team all state? Like, not just because it's him, but like just that a team that made it to state that was a state runner up and nobody made first team and nobody said nothing. But you got people that are inboxing you, sending you threats about like I'm being serious. Let's talk about it. People sending threats and arguing about other kids, but nobody did anybody send you a message about Q making second team all state? Did anybody get on a post and say anything about it?
nothing at all.
It didn't come from Polk Hoops. But it's crazy, or did that you get those type of attacks. Like you see how inconsistent these people is.
At
Yes,
this
I
point, it's expected. You know what I'm saying? It's been that way for years.
That's why I don't give them. That's why I don't respond. Though. I'm like, man, stop crying, man.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose when it's gonna be a criticism, or like you said, if you know that it's not organically coming from us, then accept it. If it's
Anybody,
coming from us, then
yeah,
it's questioned.
anyone from Victory should have been calling Source Hoops. What is it? Source Hoops, right?
Yeah.
So, so
Everybody from Victory should have been calling Source Hoops, talking about how we don't have a kid on first team, all state. This man was shocked that I called him just because I have a personal relationship with him.
Yeah.
No one from Victory inbox has sent any messages that he knew about.
and is it a surprise that more kids like Tucker or MJ didn't one one? You telling me they not one of the top 15 guys in the state? Maybe not Tucker, but maybe M. I mean, every time I saw MJ,
MJ had a hell of a year.
Yeah, like you telling me a 12
MJ had a hell of a
MJ
year.
had better numbers than that first team kid. If that kid was 12 and 10, MJ had better
Yeah,
numbers than that.
MJ had a hell of a year.
Look, they
Yeah.
break down and watch they look at the ledger. What team was MJ on the ledger?
Second.
They take that into consideration. I'm gonna get back on the phone with him and and kind of get him to understand that who we like, because he knows who we are. He knows how big we are because we've talked to him, Barnes. You've talked to him, and he started looking at us and ask those type of questions before they make those runs. They got to come through Polk County.
If you're gonna consider a Polk County
I'm
kid, cause
gonna send him a text message, man. Because that was shocking right there before they made he was shocked after he broke down and looked at the other kids, and there was no disrespect to the other kids. I mean, he just was like, dang, yeah, he should have been first team All State.
and I'm saying him first team, and I'm saying MJ should have been second or third just off what he did. So
Yeah.
that's even more so. Like they should have had more than just Q in that conversation.
But you know what though? I still like and respect them for what they're doing.
Oh, they do a
Because
great job.
they're basically the only ones that are doing it. They used to have that writers all state team, and they don't do it anymore. It's nobody really doing it anymore. They really the only ones. You had a Dairy Farmers Player of the Year, but Dairy Farmers not putting out the all state team. They're the only ones that are really doing it
Maybe we
for
need
the
to do it. Maybe we need to do it.
Boy, what is somebody from what is the kid? You think the kid from Bartow gonna make All State?
who? Come on,
Cross.
probably
Yeah.
If a
with
kid,
the
this the
year he
thing.
had. What he hit 100 and some threes.
This the thing. If a
Before
kid
5
made,
of the year for this like FACA.
It won't be first team.
but
He
if a kid made 12, if a kid got average 12 points and 10 rebounds and made first team, anything possible,
Hey,
right?
if he don't make the All State team, y'all better be y'all better hire security to watch y'all.
If he don't make all state, we ain't we don't do all state right now. We might if you saying it ain't, we might transition into it. I mean, it's
Hey,
something to think about.
you,
But
you listen to what I just said. If he don't make it to one of them teams, y'all better hire y'all some personal security. It ain't gonna be somebody from Bartow looking for y'all. It's gonna be some other people
oh,
looking for
okay,
y'all.
okay. I got you now. I was a little slow, little slow ESC moment. I got you now. Huh?
You in what? Hey, y'all in? What's the buddy name from the legend?
Roy.
Roy. Y'all in Foucault gonna need personal security.
I got what you
Let that kid go
saying,
make
bro.
All State.
But okay, yeah, I got you. I got you. But I mean, from all state that, and like you said, that could be something we can, as we transition to try to, we're gonna still do Polk County, but we may start to look at doing more state coverage just to give a different perspective. From our perspective, I think we've established ourselves enough that we can speak on it with authority and with expertise, and it'll be well received. So that might be something. But yeah, you
Say
can't.
4A is gonna be out tomorrow.
4A will be tomorrow, yes sir.
That's
The
gonna
way
be
it's looking now, 4A will be tomorrow.
interesting because Blake has two kids that will be deserving. Murphy
Good.
is gonna have a couple kids that's deserving, and neither one of them won state. So that's gonna be 4A is gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah.
4A will be tomorrow, and
Hey, we
5A.
need no protection for 4A. Y'all need to worry about 6A. I got my 4 life security, so I ain't worried. Y'all guys got y'all security in place.
Oh man, I guess I got a couple.
Can't be your frat brother, Billy D. You gonna need some real security, cuz.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I guess I got to Wednesday to get it lined up there, because that's when
What?
6A will be released.
Please send applications to my email or
What day Chappelle say? What?
or message me on Facebook. Anybody interested?
Hey, it's gonna be some posts made, some shots fired at Polk.
Will it be shot at the Ledger too?
No, man, they don't bother them people.
Okay.
They just shoot at y'all, man. They just shoot at y'all. You
They
see what I'm
don't
saying?
bother them people because
They just shoot at y'all, man.
Maybe that's a sign of. Is that a sign
Yeah.
of respect that we get the bullets, nobody else don't?
Okay, he said so. The two guys that are in place, he said one averaged 18 and 16, 18 points with 19 points, 17 rebounds, and the other one was third for Mr. Basketball voting. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
That boy was third for Mr. Basketball, averaging 12 and 10.
Lake Worth Christian, yeah. And the
What's the criteria?
St. John kid averaged 19 and 17. He said.
What's the criteria for Mr. Florida if
He's
you?
probably nationally ranked for sure. It's they probably take that into consideration. Which is
That's
why,
how Chad say. You know the thing about a lot of them things they be doing them rankings based off college projection, not what they
yeah.
necessarily do in high school.
And like I said, Q's a freshman compared to those other kids.
And Q didn't play good in the state tournament.
I think it was if he played good in the state, he the guy. I think he didn't play good in the state. That's why
And
he
that's
got dropped
probably the
out.
only chance that those people had a chance to watch him.
To see him, yeah. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, anyway. Yeah, Coach Jameson, threats, boss. He said it right. You heard it right. Threats. That's what y'all got to get y'all got to get ready for on the girl side once y'all grow
Man,
it.
I be trying to bring that energy to their page sometimes. Let them know what it feel like.
Yeah, man, it be tough. It be real over here now.
Hey, let that boy don't make them no all state team. Don't come calling me. My staff already hired.
I mean, let's look at real quick. I mean, you figure some of them Orlando kids will make it, right?
Evans, yeah.
Evans, Edgewater, right?
Edgewater not 6A.
Yeah, they are.
No, they are.
They was in the same region, right? Evans and
Yeah, for the
Edgewater,
same
right?
reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, he got numbers to make it.
I say 13 would be good.
I don't like I said, I don't think it'll be first team.
No, I think he can make 13 off the
He can
history
make
of our
13 possibly.
Yeah, I think he did enough for what he was doing. Some of them numbers he was putting up.
and Bartow basketball.
And it's Bartow, so that's gonna make a difference, you know. But that's a good point, though, sir. That's a good point. I got a couple of days to solidify some stuff just in case. So if we project in 4A, we don't
I'm
think.
gonna ask him now, but I won't. I'm gonna say it off air. If he gives me the answer, I won't say it on air. I'll tell
Okay.
you guys.
So we got a 4A guy. We don't have nobody in 4A. We think can 5A can enter the Arbondale guy kids up for consideration. So that's our 5A is basically Arbondale, Kathleen, Lake Wells,
No.
and then 6A maybe Crosley, and then 7A. What do you
No.
think Willis would be in line for All State 6A?
No.
Okay. And we got nobody 7A. What you think Boswell would be in line for 7A?
No.
No.
Okay.
He has the numbers, but
Because his team
wasn't
good.
won't make it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna post once again. Congrats to 2A Tate, first team All State, Toby, third team All State, and Darius for 3A, first team All State. We'll post all three of those separately here in a couple minutes. And congrats to Eddie Hippolyte on his commitment to Weber, and from Haines City, LaQuay Clark from Davenport on his commitment to Southeast Christian. All the young men who got offers for football this week, congrats to them as well. And this week is these the spring games this week?
They start this week.
They start this week. I know Brian Lakeland doing a jamboree type deal. Should be pretty nice. Got some nice games going all day on Saturday, I think, right? Saturday, weather permit. So and then that's it for spring football, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2 weeks they go into the gym, and so we'll release. I guess we'll rank. I guess we're gonna do a ranking of the preseason for the summer league teams. We'll do 1 to 20. I think it's 22 of them. 1 to 22. just to see. And we already did the top 50 overall players, just to kind of get you guys ready for the summer league, kind of like what we do. And we'll do our next Friday top 5 in a couple of days. And so, before we jump off, Coach, anything that for the good of the cause, both of y'all, any announcements, anything you want folks to know, be aware of?
No, not right now, but we are cooking up some things. So be looking for announcements from us.
Okay. PG, anything? I don't know if you muted or not. Anything going on with the latest from Taken by Surprise you want folks to know about, be aware of? If he ain't on, I say it. So, I think he on the call. So TBS will be on the road the next 2 weeks. They're going to North Carolina this week. And next week they head up to New Jersey to defend their national championship, trying to go back to back like Drake. So y'all I know they just had tryouts, and I think we got like 24 new ladies to the squad. And I say we because I'm part of the admin part of the Taken by Surprise. So it's PG kind of run it, but I'm one of those board member people, I guess. So shout out to all, and then we starting to have the graduations, man. So shout out to the kids that are graduating. I know we had some graduations at the collegiate high schools for some of the kids that go to the collegiate high schools this past week at Gateway and Collegiate and Shannon Lakes, and the high schools will be on deck. Is it this week or next week, Coach? When y'all start up?
Next week. I know we at Davenport is the 22nd, so it's in the next week.
So it's finals this week. So this is the last week for seniors.
Tomorrow.
Okay, so they've already taken their finals.
Yes, for seniors. The underclassmen are still testing.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach, let the underclassmen know what it is, Coach.
Because the best ability is availability. You know what I'm saying? If you're 10th grade, man, these tests count towards graduation. Your ELA test. If you're in algebra or geometry, that test counts towards graduation. So make sure you're putting your best foot forward. If you don't want those remedial classes and you want to take the classes that you want, you got to do well with those tests. You know what I'm saying? Be there on time. Make sure you eat breakfast, get plenty of sleep. It's important. Definitely, it's important.
Yeah, man. Finish strong. Finish the drill, man. Don't just skate through and then if you're not eligible at the end of the semester, you're not eligible until what, February?
But
So,
you have time though. You know, it's summer school. It's Florida virtual.
okay.
You
So
can
get ready for Florida virtual.
Polk virtual.
Polk virtual. Okay.
But Florida virtual is not going anywhere. You still can pick up classes with Florida virtual. You can do summer school at certain high schools. It's ways to get it done. If you need help with that, please just inbox us. We will help you get there.
And let's try not to have to do all that. But yeah, it's options, but enjoy your summer, man. Go and finish strong so you can enjoy your summer. You can be with your team and be working toward what the next year look like. Coach, don't y'all got physicals coming up? You say
Yes.
that's already passed?
No, it hasn't. It happens on May 31st at Davenport High School. Everybody in the county that wants to get a free physical is May 31st. Coach, did I send you that graphic? We can post it.
No, sir, you didn't. You send it out. Oh, yeah, we'll post it.
I'll send it to you where we can post it because you got to sign up by that QR code beforehand. If not, they're not going to let you in.
QR codes is a thing. It's the wave of the future. QR codes and AI. All right, man. Well, we appreciate y'all tapping in with us tonight. Coach, who you got? I know they just started. Who you got, Cleveland or Indiana? Cleveland's tied up, but Indiana take a commanding lead. Indiana. I'm sorry. I might. Ooh.
I like the way Indiana's playing right now.
Well, they playing real good right now. They're up 25, and it's just the second quarter.
I didn't even know that, but I was going to say Indiana.
Yeah, well, you must have been a prophet on that one. So yeah, that's about to be shirt. That's they got that steroid deep in there.
I don't think Cleveland did anything to help themselves for the playoffs. They were satisfied with the way they was playing in the regular season, but you gotta have, it's a long season, and They should have made a move in order to prepare them for the playoffs.
You didn't think the roster they had was good enough?
No.
They got so it's fool's gold with the regular season. The
I
only
bet
thing about the NBA now is a 25-point lead safe. Ain't nothing safe at this point in time.
no, because the Knicks have
Yeah, so it's like they down. The bad thing is they down 24, but it's 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. So you still it's way like you never out of the game in the NBA because so I'm saying they getting killed right now, but you look at 10 more minutes, it may be halftime. It could be just 10 as opposed to 24, but. Yeah, they can't shoot nothing right now. They done turned the ball over 10 times, coach, and they 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. And the NBA coach 10 times, and that's Indiana just on
and
some
shout
other
out to
stuff.
Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley's on the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I saw him run around out there the other day. So anyway, appreciate y'all working with us this week, man. Y'all kids, please make sure you finish the drill in your classes, man. Just finish strong. And congrats to all of the seniors that your last day, your last time walking the halls will be tomorrow, man. Job well done. And we'll post these things for you. We'll post these All-State guys. We'll post this QR code. And we appreciate y'all continuing to rock with us, man. So that's it for tonight. That's all we got. Till next time, Polk. We out. Y'all be safe.